Howdy! We're delving into the faded empathy issue in our fast-paced world, turning to Stoicism to rediscover compassion, discernment, and authenticity. We reveal how manipulations, falsehoods, and dominating behaviors mirror our internal struggle. More than just exposing, we propose a path of understanding and personal transformation, arguing that our true essence lies not in technology, but in the ability to connect with each other humanly. We invite you to join us until the end, to together explore how to regain empathy, face truths, and cultivate freedoms in our lives. This isn't just an invitation to watch, but a call to evolve. Lack of empathy. In a world moving at breakneck speed, where technology connects us in ways previously unimaginable, a vital element seems to be lost in the blink of an eye: empathy. But why does this fundamental human trait seem to dwindle in modern relationships? Stoicism, a philosophy that has spanned centuries, teaches us the importance of looking beyond ourselves, of understanding that each person carries their own universe of struggles and triumphs. Imagine for a moment, what would it be like to walk a day in someone else's shoes? To feel their pains, rejoice in their victories, truly understand their struggles. This is the essence of compassion and mutual respect that Stoicism preaches. In an era where I seems to outweigh we, recognizing the inability to put oneself in another's shoes as a flaw, not our own but of others, is a courageous step towards building healthier relationships and more resilient communities. It's not an easy journey, but it's definitely a journey worth taking. After all, the true strength of a society is not measured by its ability to advance technologically, but by its ability to remain human. Manipulation. In the labyrinth of human relationships, manipulation emerges as a dark path, full of traps that can divert the unwary from their own interests. It's a game of shadows, where intentions are concealed and movements are calculated to influence, often without leaving traces of its insidious presence. But how to navigate these treacherous waters without getting lost? Stoicism, with its deep roots in the pursuit of authenticity and inner freedom, offers a guiding light. This ancient philosophy invites us to develop a shield, discernment. Through it, we learn to see beyond appearances, to question the intentions hidden behind the words and actions of others. Stoicism teaches us that true freedom comes from within, from an emotional independence that allows us to make decisions aligned with our deepest values, not with the desires of others. But how to strengthen this discernment? It begins with the practice of listening not only to what is said, but how it's said and what isn't said. It means being attentive to one's own feelings, recognizing when something doesn't seem right. And above all, it involves the courage to question, to seek the truth even when it's inconvenient. In a world that often values appearance over essence, choosing the path of Stoicism is choosing authenticity over manipulation, opting for true freedom. Frequent lies. In a world where the truth often hides in shadows, frequent lies become silent erosions in the trust that binds people together. Stoicism, with its ancient light, guides us on the path of integrity and honesty, teaching us to value truth above all. It encourages us to be living examples of authenticity, holding steadfast even when the waves of dishonesty try to drag us down. This path is not just about speaking the truth, but also about setting firm boundaries with those who flirt with falsehood, protecting our emotional space and preserving genuine relationships. Stoicism reminds us that, while we cannot control the actions of others, we have total dominion over how we react to them. Choosing to respond with honesty and dignity. Living with truth is a brave choice, an act of resistance against the tide of lies that threatens to engulf us. It teaches us to build solid bridges of trust over which we can walk safely, knowing that around us we cultivate an environment where truth not only survives, but thrives. Controlling behavior. Faced with the impulse to control, we find a manifestation of human insecurity, a vain attempt to tame the chaos of interpersonal relationships. Such behavior not only reveals a deep lack of trust, but also undermines the essence of mutual respect and personal autonomy. Stoicism, with its timeless wisdom, teaches us to value individual freedom, to nurture our autonomy, and to establish healthy boundaries against attempts at domination. It thus encourages us to cultivate the inner strength needed to withstand these controlling behaviors, promoting an environment of respect and freedom. By practicing Stoicism, we learn to protect our space, our minds, and our path, defending our essential freedom against any attempt at usurpation. It's a powerful reminder that, while we can offer love and support, we must, above all, safeguard our freedom and well-being. History of problematic relationships. Observing a mosaic of problematic relationships in our past can be a mirror reflecting not just circumstances, but also aspects of our own being that may need attention and care. This sequence of tumultuous relations, far from being mere chance, suggests a deep opportunity for learning about how we connect with others and manage conflicts. Stoicism, a philosophy that echoes through the centuries, guides us to seek social harmony and cultivate an upright character, promoting self-reflection as a tool to understand and improve our interactions. Through this lens, we are encouraged to look inward, questioning not just how we react to others, but also how we contribute to the dynamics of these relationships. This exercise in introspection is not about finding faults, but illuminating paths to build healthier, more resilient connections. By embracing Stoicism, we learn to value each relationship as an opportunity to practice empathy, open communication, and mutual respect, essential elements for a robust and harmonious social fabric. Aggressiveness. Facing aggressiveness, whether through harsh words or sudden actions, is a genuine challenge. Stoic teachings, focused on justice, calmness, and respect, show us that responding in kind is not the way. When faced with aggressiveness, Stoicism suggests maintaining calm and setting clear boundaries, showing that respect is paramount. The goal isn't to engage in the fight, but to understand the reason behind the aggressiveness. It might be hiding some pain or frustration. In dealing with this, it's important to be firm yet fair, demonstrating that everyone has their own space and limits. This not only helps protect our peace, but also gives the other person a chance to stop and think. Aggressiveness is often a disguised cry for help. So instead of striking back, the Stoic approach encourages us to look for solutions that truly address the problem, always respecting the other person. Lack of responsibility. When someone shirks their responsibilities for their actions, it shows that they still have a long way to go in terms of integrity and maturity. Stoicism, with its view on life, places personal responsibility at the core of our character development. Owning up to what we do, through good times and bad, is essential for growing as individuals and contributing to a more just and harmonious society. It's not just about admitting mistakes. It's about learning from them and doing better next time. This philosophy teaches us that each action plays a role in the grand tapestry of life, and that maintaining order and social peace starts with us, with the commitment to being true to ourselves and others. Taking responsibility not only strengthens our character, but also empowers us, showing that we have control over our lives and our choices. Superficial charm. Relying solely on superficial charm, the kind that grabs attention but lacks substance, is like building a house without a foundation. It might impress at first, but it doesn't last. Stoicism, this ancient wisdom that still speaks loudly to us, teaches us to look beyond appearances, valuing who we are inside. Our real qualities and authenticity is what builds true and worthwhile relationships. It's not that first impressions don't matter, but they're not everything. The connections that last, the ones that support us through good times and bad, are based on much more. They're built on honesty, trust, and mutual respect. Stoicism encourages us to be real, to show who we truly are, and to seek out people who do the same. This way, we forge strong bonds that are not just for show, but for sharing a genuine life. Amazing your thirst for knowledge. If this content has delivered something valuable to you, comment "seeking knowledge." Let's continue. Pressure to advance relationships quickly. Pushing for a relationship to progress faster than it should often signals that something is not right, such as a need for control or a heavy emotional dependency. Stoicism, with its timeless advice, speaks to the value of patience and the importance of giving things time. True relationships are not built in haste, but through respect for natural growth and mutual understanding that develops calmly. This urge to rush things may reflect our anxiety or a desire to fill internal voids with someone else's presence. However, Stoicism reminds us that the strength of any human connection comes from reflection, deep understanding, and patience. It's worth waiting for the organic development of things, respecting our own time and that of others, so that together we can build something that truly lasts and makes sense. Disrespecting your boundaries. When someone ignores or crosses our boundaries, it's not just a lack of respect, but also a clear sign of an attempt to control. Stoicism, always guiding us with its wisdom, highlights the importance of our personal freedom and setting limits that protect our psychological and emotional well-being. These boundaries are like an invisible wall that keeps us safe, allowing us to relate to others in a healthy way. Respecting personal boundaries is crucial for any mutually respectful relationship. When our boundaries are violated, it's essential to stand up and reaffirm them, showing that our integrity is a priority. Stoicism teaches us to be firm but fair, cultivating relationships based on true respect, where each person understands and values the other's space. It's a reminder that, to build genuine connections, we need to respect not only others' boundaries, but our own as well. Inconsistencies in stories. Imagine walking along a trail in a dense forest. With each step, the path seems to change. Now you see a bridge, then it disappears, replaced by a raging river. This trail is like the stories we're told, full of changes and details that sometimes don't fit. It makes us question, am I on the right path? Stoicism, an ancient philosophy that still echoes its wisdom today, invites us to be like explorers of this forest, seeking truth among the trees of dishonesty and paths that change with the wind. It teaches us to use our internal compass, discernment, so we don't get lost in the forest of falsehoods. Faced with inconsistencies, it's our integrity that guides us, like a north star in the night sky, helping us to stay the course. When confronted with stories that change shape like clouds in the sky, we are called to question, to seek the essence, the true nature of things. It's an invitation not just to listen, but to listen carefully, discerning the true from the false, the permanent from the ephemeral. On this path, honesty becomes our closest ally, and with it, we strengthen our relationships and our own inner peace. By exercising discernment and maintaining our integrity, we build a legacy of trust and respect, not only for ourselves, but for those with whom we share our journey. This is how, even in the face of inconsistencies and changes, we can maintain our balance and move forward, guided by the light of truth and honesty. Disregard for laws and social norms. Society is a complex structure built on laws and norms that ensure order and collective well-being. When individuals choose to disrespect these rules, they act out of self-interest, without considering the consequences of their actions on the group. This behavior is not only selfish, but also potentially destructive, threatening the stability and harmony we hold dear. Stoicism, a philosophy that values justice, mutual respect, and contribution to the common good, teaches us to appreciate and follow the norms established by society. This ancient philosophy encourages us to reflect on how our actions affect others and the environment around us, promoting peaceful and productive coexistence. Respecting laws and social norms is more than an obligation. It's an act of recognizing the importance of living in a community where everyone can thrive. It requires putting the collective well-being above individual desires, always seeking to act in ways that contribute to social order and harmony. This stance not only benefits society as a whole, but also helps us develop valuable personal qualities, such as empathy, responsibility, and integrity. By living according to these principles, we contribute to a more just and balanced world, where everyone has the opportunity to grow and contribute to the common good. If you're enjoying this, don't miss out on the opportunity. Purchase the ebook now, Stoicism in the 21st Century, Ancient Strategies for Modern Challenges, and unlock your prosperity, abundance, and improve your relationships with this ebook. Link in the pinned comment. Isolation. Isolation is a tool often used by those looking to control or manipulate, severing the ties that connect us with our support network. This practice not only harms our emotional well-being, but also undermines our autonomy, a fundamental pillar of our existence. Stoicism, in contrast, deeply values individual freedom, mutual support, and harmonious coexistence among people. This philosophy teaches us to be resilient and self-sufficient, yes, but also to recognize the importance of being connected with others. This connection is not seen as a dependency, but as a reflection of our shared humanity, a social fabric that strengthens us against life's adversities. When faced with attempts at isolation, Stoicism encourages us to protect our autonomy and emotional well-being. It reminds us of the strength found in community, mutual support, and the ability to ask for help when necessary. Instead of succumbing to isolation, we are encouraged to strengthen our connections, to build bridges that keep us linked to those who support and value us. Projection. Projection is like looking into a mirror and seeing someone else's reflection. By attributing to others feelings or characteristics that are, in fact, our own, we avoid confronting our own flaws. It's a defense mechanism that masks our reluctance to look inward and face what truly lies within us. Stoicism, a compass for the inner life, guides us in the opposite direction. This ancient philosophy teaches us about the importance of self-awareness, honesty with oneself, and personal responsibility. It encourages us to dive deep into our being, to recognize our flaws, our shadows, and to deal with them in a constructive and healthy way. Instead of casting our insecurities and mistakes onto others, Stoicism calls us to take responsibility for our own lives. It reminds us that true strength comes from the ability to be honest with ourselves, to accept our imperfections, and to work towards overcoming them. It's an invitation to stop pointing fingers and start offering a hand, first to ourselves and then to others. By embracing this philosophy, we free ourselves from the need to mask our weaknesses by projecting them onto others. We discover that the path to improvement and personal growth lies in facing our internal challenges with courage and integrity. Stoicism, therefore, is not just about withstanding external adversities, but also about conquering internal battles, turning our flaws into steps for our evolution. Rapid mood changes. Rapid mood changes, a whirlwind that can turn our world upside down, both for us and for those around us. You know when you wake up feeling on top of the world and suddenly something minor sends you spiraling down? That's the emotional roller coaster we're talking about. But what if I told you there's an ancient antidote to this roller coaster? Yes, I'm talking about Stoicism, a philosophy that's not just for dusty old books, but a powerful tool for the here and now. Think of Stoicism like that wise, calm friend who, even in the midst of a hurricane, manages to keep their cool. It teaches us to look inward, understand our emotions, and most importantly, not let them dominate us. Instead of being puppets at the mercy of our mood swings, Stoicism offers us the reins to steer our emotional chariot with serenity and intelligence. Here's a secret. The key is to embrace emotions, to feel each one, but not to let them define us. This doesn't mean being cold or indifferent, but rather finding that perfect balance where we can experience sadness, joy, frustration, and happiness without letting any of these emotions take the wheel of our life. So how about we start viewing our emotions as opportunities for growth rather than obstacles? Remember, at the end of the day, our greatest challenge and our greatest achievement is to be able to say, I am the master of my emotions. Constant victimization. On the path we tread, we encounter various crossroads and challenges. Life, in its essence, is made up of moments that test us and make us question our own strength. In this scenario, a crucial choice emerges that determines the direction of our lives, to assume the role of the protagonist or the victim. Constant victimization, this trap disguised as comfort, may seem like a refuge. After all, it's easier to blame the world and circumstances for the adversities we face. However, this becomes a strategy that imprisons us, limiting our potential for growth and transformation. Stoic philosophy teaches us the invaluable worth of courage, personal responsibility, and the ability to overcome adversity. It invites us to look inward, recognize our own strengths and weaknesses, and act not as victims of circumstances, but as architects of our destiny. Facing life with stoicism means accepting challenges as opportunities for personal growth. It's understanding that, although we cannot control everything that happens to us, we have the power to choose how to respond to these situations. This is true courage, taking responsibility for our journey, turning obstacles into steps to reach the highest version of ourselves. Disinterest in your needs. In a world that sometimes seems to spin faster and faster, it's easy to get lost in our own urgencies and forget to look around. In this whirlwind of events and responsibilities, one of the most essential aspects of humanity can be overlooked: empathy. Disregarding the needs of others is not just a matter of forgetfulness. It reflects a selfish relational dynamic that drives us apart. Stoicism, with its millennia-old wisdom, brings us a powerful reminder of the importance of empathy, justice, and mutual respect. This philosophy doesn't just teach us to be resilient in the face of adversity. It invites us to cultivate relationships based on understanding and mutual support. After all, every person we cross paths with in our journey carries their own struggles, dreams, and needs. Practicing empathy means putting ourselves in someone else's shoes, understanding their needs not as a burden, but as an opportunity to strengthen our bonds and build a more cohesive and supportive community. This means listening attentively, offering our support, and when necessary, sacrificing our own conveniences for the sake of others' well-being. Adopting a stance of empathy and justice in our relationships is a daily exercise in personal and collective growth. Through the practice of empathy, we recognize the intrinsic value of each individual and the importance of attending to each other's needs. In doing so, we not only enrich our own lives, but contribute to a world where mutual respect and support are fundamental pillars of human relations. Therefore, make empathy, justice, and mutual respect not just values to be admired, but active practices in your daily life. By looking beyond ourselves and attending to the needs of others, we cultivate not only deeper and more meaningful relationships, but also a fairer and more empathetic society. Use of intimidation or threats. In a world where pressure seems to be a constant, where the shadow of intimidation and threats quietly looms over our heads, standing up can seem like a lonely journey. But imagine for a moment if we could face these challenges with the calm and determination of the Stoics. Stoicism, this ancient philosophy, is not just a collection of distant ideas, but a compass for life, pointing towards human dignity and justice as non-negotiable values. When we encounter behaviors that aim to control us or instill fear, Stoicism teaches us not to surrender to the emotional storm, but to seek inner serenity. Defending our safety and well-being becomes not just an act of courage, but a duty to ourselves and those around us, promoting an environment of respect where each person is valued is the heart of the matter. It's not just about avoiding being harmed, but also about not becoming the one who harms. Life, according to Stoicism, echoes our actions and choices. Therefore, choosing dignity and justice contributes to a world where intimidation and threats find no fertile ground. After all, mutual respect and understanding are the true forces that unite us. By embracing these values, we rise above fear, finding not just peace, but a greater purpose. Are you ready to be part of this transformation? Excessive need for admiration. Imagine a world where every like, every compliment becomes the cornerstone of our self-esteem. In this relentless pursuit of external validation, we lose ourselves in a maze of others' expectations, forgetting who we truly are. But what if we could change that narrative? Stoicism, with its timeless wisdom, offers us an alternative path. This ancient teaching reminds us that true value is not something that can be obtained from the outside, but something that is cultivated within. Instead of anchoring our happiness in the approval of others, Stoicism invites us to look inward, to cultivate a sense of self-worth that is authentic and unshakable. Developing this inner fortress reduces our dependence on external admiration. It's not that compliments are no longer welcome, but they don't define who we are. True freedom comes when we learn to appreciate our own worth, independent of the spotlight and applause. In this process, we discover that the most valuable approval is the one that comes from within. This is the true power of Stoicism, the ability to find peace and satisfaction in who we are, not in the image we project. So why not start this journey of self-discovery today? Privacy invasion. We live in an era where the line between public and private is often blurred, where a click can open doors that should remain closed. Privacy invasion, this attempt at control disguised as curiosity, is a clear violation of individual dignity. But what does Stoicism have to say about this? Stoicism, with its emphasis on autonomy and dignity, reminds us of the invaluable worth of trust and mutual respect. Violating someone's privacy is not just an act of disrespect. It's denying the person the right to self-ownership. It's an attempt to usurp a space that should be inviolable, where each of us stores our most intimate thoughts, our deepest feelings. Respecting privacy, therefore, is more than a gesture of courtesy. It's acknowledging the other person as an autonomous being with their own rights and feelings. It's understanding that the true strength of human relationships lies in integrity and mutual respect, pillars that uphold trust and allow relationships to flourish on fertile ground of understanding and empathy. By fostering relationships based on these values, we're not just protecting each individual's space. We're cultivating an environment where everyone can feel safe, respected, and valued. Stoicism, in this sense, invites us to reflect on the importance of every act, every choice, reinforcing the idea that true harmony arises when we respect others' boundaries as if they were our own. We're reminded of the power of Stoicism to guide us toward empathy and authenticity. If this journey resonated with you, subscribe and share, contributing to a more understanding world. Together, we transform intentions into meaningful actions.